St. Joseph's College for Women, Autonomous Vishakhapatnam, Department of English welcomes you to the online course on Professional Communication in Practice. Module 7, Research and Academic Communication. Facilitated by Dr. T. Bhaskar Sudha, Head Department of English, St. Joseph's College for Women, Autonomous. Let us now see topic 2, Writing Research Papers, Reports and Abstracts. By the end of this topic, learners will be able to understand the structure of research papers, reports and abstracts, develop academic writing and analytical skills, learn proper citations and references methods, organize ideas logically and coherently, write clear and concise abstracts and reports, apply referencing styles like MLA and APA correctly, present research findings clearly and professionally. Let me introduce you to research writing and academic writing, since we've already seen in the earlier topic. A little more in detail we will do now. Academic writing is a formal writing used to research papers, reports, and scholarly publications. Now, there are various features of academic writing. One is the formal tone and then clear structure, evidence-based arguments, and proper referencing. So these four are very important for a research paper where you use a formal tone, you don't use any slangs or any free verse talks. You just use it very concise and precise, and clear structure of the paper right from introduction to the conclusion. Then the evidence-based arguments, unless until a research paper has certain evidences to prove that your research is in the par. Until then, you cannot say it is a research paper. So evidence-based arguments should also be included in a research paper. Then finally, the proper referencing, whether it's primary or secondary source, referencing from the from earlier research done, you can quote it in your research saying that it is taken from so-and-so text or so-and-so source, and that would be in the reference section. For example, instead of saying many people think social media is bad, right? In a more formal way and more way where you write it in a research style or in an academic writing, you can say research indicates that excessive social media use can have negative effect on mental health, right? That's how you rephrase it in a more formal way. Next, what is a research paper? Since we are talking about academic writing, research writing and all, what is exactly a research paper is? A research paper is a formal academic document that presents original research, analysis or interpretation. Now, what is the purpose of writing a research paper? Why should the scholars or learners should write a research paper? To explore a research problem, to present argument supported by evidence, to contribute to academic knowledge. So unless until you enrich your knowledge with the research content in it, you cannot be moving further in your profession. Now, what are the characteristic features of a research paper? The formal language, structured format, and evidence-based writing. So these are the characteristic features where a research paper should contain. Now, let us see one by one the structure of a research paper. Since we have seen what is research paper, what is academic writing, and how different types of researches can be done. Now let us see the structure of a research paper. What should be included in a research paper and how to write a research paper. Firstly, the title page. The title page consists of the author and the institution. That is title of the topic of the research, the author's name and designation, and the institution in which the author is working. So that is the first page. Second comes the abstract. Abstract is a brief summary of the entire research or writing that you have done. It will be covering everything together. Then is the introduction. Introduction is a research problem and the objectives. What is the objective of the paper, of the research that you have done? That comes under introduction. Then the literature review. Literature review is the previous studies from where already this type of research that you are writing has already done by other scholars or the previous scholars. So you take those sources, quote it in your paper, and put it in the citation section that I have taken this source from so and so. That is how, and you are actually taking it and doing a little further research on that particular findings which you have already taken from some other source. So the findings that you do a step ahead of what already your previous researchers have done, that comes under literature review. Then the methodology. The methodology is the methods used in doing the research, the different methods, either qualitative or quantitative method, or any other method which is used in research, what methodology you have used in collecting the data. Then after collecting the data, after setting your paper, after writing the introduction, literature review, everything, then comes the result and the discussion part. The result and discussion part is the problem that you have already discussed in the introduction part, and then followed by the solution and how you're going to, and the result that comes out of the problem, and the discussion in the sense how you solve the problem. So that is the result and the discussion part. Then conclusion, concluding the entire research paper, saying that it's like the overall gist of the entire research that you have done. Finally comes the reference section. Reference section is the citation part, citation page, where you have taken, either you have at least gone through a book of your research that which is similar to you, similar to your topic. That book also should be acknowledged that you have read that book to collect data, right? So anything, any book, either online, offline, or any book that is, or any sources that you collect the information or read an information, that also should be under the reference section, saying that I have taken it from so and so source. That is a proper research paper where a scholar writes. Now, firstly, let us deal with one by one the structure of the research paper. First is the abstract. Abstract is a short summary, as I've already discussed earlier. It's a short summary which has around 150 to 250 words, and it includes the research purpose, why the paper is written, for what is the purpose of it, the methods used, and the key findings and the conclusion. Key findings in the sense, key words. Each abstract, under each abstract, if you see, there are 5 key words written, saying that you are using these keywords throughout the paper. So this is what abstract is, a summary or the gist of the entire paper. For example, this study explores the impact of the social media on youth communication. Using the survey method, the findings show both positive and negative effects on interpersonal skills. This is the small abstract which I've given you as an example. You can see on the slide another example of how an abstract is written, as the image you can see there. So this is how the abstract will be seen on the research paper. Now, after completing the abstract, now the second thing is writing about the introduction. Introduction should where you introduce the topic, provide the background of the topic, state the research problem, present thesis statement. So these 4 things go under introduction of the research paper. For example, this paper examines the role of digital technology in transforming modern education and its impact on the student learning outcome. So this is how your introduction starts, and then you can continue talking about how this modern learning has shown an impact on technology, showing an impact on modern learning. The next part of the structure of the research paper is the literature review. Literature review, this section is the previous review statements which are already done by earlier researchers or earlier scholars. You take them as a source for you, where you get a little more information for your paper. Now, the purpose of this literature review is to show understanding of the topic, identify research gaps, and support your study. You might have taken from an earlier research a topic which is a content related to your research. You take it from the source and you add your own way of developing that altogether. So that is under research review. Already what others have done, you are continuing the research in your own style. So that is the research gap. You are filling the gap between the earlier researchers and you at present. So that is how the literature review goes. For example, according to Sharma 2022, online learning improves accessibility but lacks students' engagement. So this is how the source which has taken from 2022, where Mr. Sharma has written related to an online learning improves accessibility, that you are continuing in your research. This is just an example I've given you to make you understand. The next under research, under structure of research writing is research methodology. There are 4 types of methodologies used. One is survey, interview, and next is observation and the case studies. So these 4 help in the different ways how a research is being done. Survey is you go give a questionnaire, get the data for your problem that you have taken. Then the interview is directly going to the person or to the source and interviewing the person and getting the details. Then observation is you go to the place and observe the situation there, and then you collect and you write it in your own. The case study is earlier researchers might have done the same study. You take that as a case study and then develop on that. That is one way of research methodology. For example, a survey of 100 college students was conducted to analyze online learning effectiveness. So this is a survey method used here as an example I've given you here for your understanding. The next under structure of research paper is referencing and citation. So why do we use this page of reference and citation? What is important of it is to avoid plagiarism. Plagiarism is you cannot quote somebody's work as your own and saying that it is mine. So in that case, it would be legally punishable. So it is a crime that a researcher should not do. So avoiding plagiarism is the best way to make your research perfect. Then give credit to the authors, whatever sources you have taken from various sources, either primary or secondary. Just credit, give them, acknowledge them that you have taken from so and so source in your research citation page. Then that will strengthen your research. It will give you more accountable that you have done your work in a perfect way. Now there are styles of this citation, different styles. Each researcher writes in their own way. One is APA, MLA, and Chicago. We will deal with these 3 as we come into the next session of the module. Then example of APA here is Sharma R 2023 Digital Learning, Oxford University Press. So this is how a citation should be seen on the reference section. First, the name of the author. I've given you the example here. Name of the author first. Then comes the topic, digital learning. Then which publication, that is Oxford University Press, means which publication it is. So that is how APA format is. This is generally used for, APA is generally used for science research papers. Now let us see what is report writing. Now a report presents information clearly for a specific purpose. The types of reports are academic reports, business, and project reports, which are also research reports. Now there is a structure of writing of these reports. First is the title, introduction, body, findings, conclusion, and recommendations. These structure of a writing of a report should have these features. For example, report on use of technology in classroom teaching. Now let me give you a little tips for effective academic writing. Use clear and simple language, maintain formal tone, avoid grammatical errors, support ideas with evidence, review and proofread. Let's conclude this topic. As writing research papers, reports, and abstracts is essential for academic success. Proper structure, clarity, and referencing improves the quality of the academic writing and helps present ideas effectively. Thank you for your patience listening. We will see you in the next topic.